All right, I'm here with Joshua Gould, a personal trainer from Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
How long have you been a personal trainer?
Well, I've been kind of in the process of training literally my whole life. I graduated from college in 2008, so professionally I've done it for 3 years now. And before I was even a personal trainer, I went through a little weight loss success story myself. So
Tell us about that. Were you overweight in high school or college? What happened?
Yeah, so in high school I was overweight, and then really just decided to get my butt in gear. Real simple techniques. It was more about drive, and I ended up losing about 60 pounds in about a year. And then kind of saw the power of exercise and losing weight, and here I am now.
Did you play sports in high school?
Yeah, I played basketball and football.
Okay, so you exercised, but you just weren't. Yeah, you didn't take exercise that seriously, or what would you say your issue was there?
Yeah, it was my diet.
Yeah.
And it was deal genetics, so I was heading down the path of being overweight. So I really looked at it as, well, it's only going to get harder, and people need to kind of take that angle. It only gets harder when you get older.
Right.
So I try to get it out of the way, especially before I head to college.
So do you do personal training full time, or is this kind of just a side gig for you?
No, I do personal training full time, public speaking, nutrition consulting.
Awesome.
I run my website. I travel in Boston and train people in private gyms. I also work for a company here in Boston.
Awesome. Tell us about your techniques, and what would you say is the most effective way to lose fat?
The most effective way to lose fat and keep your fat down, maintain your weight, is to improve your metabolism. Not worry so much about how many calories you burn, or even necessarily how many calories you consume, but training in a way and eating in a way that ignites your metabolism.
Okay.
You have posted things like your resting metabolism burns roughly 60 to 75% of your total calories through the day.
Wow.
Where exercise is near 10 or 15%.
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up, no matter how hard you work in the gym.
Right. I look at some of the exercises. You go to these websites and you say, how many calories does running burn? And then you look at how many calories are, in something healthy even. Like, I don't know, just a couple of eggs is a few hundred calories. To burn a few hundred calories with exercise is not worth it. It's like, you have to run for a half hour to burn, 100 calories, it seemed like.
Right. If I can get, especially my clients, to eat more of better stuff,
yeah,
then they'll lose weight. Especially with the females, usually when the diet that I give them, or we work on changing their diet, they'll eat more, and they get very worried about that. They're like, I'm going to eat more. Are you sure? Am I going to lose weight? And as long as you do it correctly, their metabolism improves, and that just kind of that takes care of everything. We can't play this battle of calories in, calories out. The body just doesn't work like that.
Okay. This is interesting stuff, because I've kind of been, well, for me, I've been a proponent of keeping a food journal, but I think that's more so just you're conscious of your binge eating and conscious of when you are emotionally eating. But I think all in all, if you're tracking what you eat, now that you can track what you eat and you're in control of what you're eating, now it's a matter of eating the right things. So tell us some of the right things that can help boost your metabolism.
In general, when people eat more protein, lean sources of protein, in general, just the body, it takes a little more energy for it to break down and assimilate the proteins.
Okay.
Also, if you're filling your stomach with proteins, you're less likely to fill it with, say, simple carbohydrates or unhealthy fats.
Okay.
So a lot of times, this is just kind of a baseline guide, but for the majority of people, when I take over their diet, we usually go to a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, meaning we eat the same amount of calories of protein, same amount of calories of carbs, and same amount of calories of healthy fats. Usually when people report their diets, carbs are through the roof, fats are a little higher, and protein is way down low.
Yeah.
By shifting the carbohydrates down, putting the protein up, I've yet to see it not work for someone.
Right. I'm learning more and more that carbs. It's not so much carbs that are. It's not carbs are bad. It's that they're so easy to eat too many of them.
Absolutely.
It's so easy.
It's countered by carbs.
So, and I think food in general is kind of a moderation thing. Nothing is necessarily bad. Like, it's only bad if you eat too much of it. And sugar is something that, I don't know. Obviously, it's not going to help your diet, but it's something that's not going to hurt it unless you eat too much. And eating too much is really easy to do.
Very easy. Yep. Absolutely.
So tell us so that we can get a baseline of kind of what we're talking about. Some healthy proteins that we can eat.
Your healthy proteins are, of course, chicken breast. Turkey is very healthy and lean. Fish is excellent. Fish across the board. I wish people would eat more fish.
Right.
You can still eat your red meats if you go to the market, aiming for the leaner cuts.
Right.
Or if you're getting ground beef, just getting it on the leaner side. 93% lean ground sirloin, something like that.
Okay.
Eggs, of course, are very lean as long as you keep the yolks to a minimum. Really only about one or two per day. Greek yogurt, Chobani. I know a lot of clients love that.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about Greek yogurt lately.
Yeah, it's becoming very popular. Tastes good too.
And then as far as the healthy fats, what are the healthy fats to look for?
Healthy fats, your olive oils, your nuts, stuff like that. Cottage cheese, low amounts of dairy fat is okay.
Okay.
Usually I don't eat a lot of dairy. The yolk in the egg, healthy fat.
Okay.
Things along those lines.
All right. I think I've heard avocados are healthy fat.
Yep.
All right. And then as far as carbs, are all carbs created equal?
No, definitely not. Really, what you want to look for is to avoid things with flour in it. If you avoid flour, you'll always end up eating a better carb source. Because anything made with flour is usually made with enriched flour. It's processed.
Right.
I'm talking about your pastas, your breads. There are chemicals in it that don't exactly help us digest it, and they're usually going to be a lot of carbohydrates kind of packed together.
Right.
As bagel, loaf of bread, pasta. You want more whole sources. So if you're talking legumes, lentils, red beans and black beans. Fruit can be okay in moderation. Fruit is very sugary, but again, there's a lot of good stuff in fruit that we don't avoid. And definitely vegetables.
Okay. So sounds like we got some. I always hear the term complex carbohydrate. Is that what all those are? Complex carbohydrates?
Well, complex carbohydrate usually just means that it contains more of the seed or germ, or it takes longer to break down.
Okay.
But again, as a good baseline, if you eat things with flour, if it's processed, it will not be a complex carbohydrate because it's stripped of the good stuff.
Okay.
And basically, it's made to be pliable. That's what that flour does. It makes it easy to make into a piece of spaghetti or a loaf of bread, nice and soft, or something like that.
Okay.
Complex carbs are good. I think people they follow the glycemic index a little too closely because when they made the glycemic index and things are rated high or low.
Yeah.
That was if you would just consume that by itself. But we don't just eat carbohydrates by themselves. So once we eat it with, say, adding a little more protein to your meal, that kind of slows everything down. So really the difference between, say, brown rice and white rice, there isn't as big of a difference as people think.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, say, wheat bread and white bread. For example, most wheat bread is usually actually just dyed, and it's not actual
right.
wheat. You have to look for it to say it was whole wheat. But eat things like that. If you can avoid things that are made with flour and they are processed, eat as many carbs as you want.
I heard some advice recently on buying bread and cereals and to focus on the fiber versus sugar. And that as long as it has more fiber than sugar, you're okay. And there are very few breads and very few cereals. And I'm guessing even then in moderation again. So, because there'll still be, lots of carbs. But also another thing that I've learned is So you'll have it'll show how many grams of carb it has, and then how many grams of fiber. And the true carb, I guess, is the carbohydrates minus the fiber.
Well, yeah, because fiber can be insoluble. It doesn't digest the same way as just a normal carbohydrate, such as the sugar.
Okay.
So the fiber is more, it's kind of more passed by the body. It's not, necessarily uses energy like the rest of the carbohydrates would do.
Okay. So fiber is just extra bonus.
Kind of, but you do know, you brought up a great point that if you are eating something high in fiber, it's most likely a good carbohydrate source.
Okay. Awesome. So which vegetables are going to be high in fiber and a lot of those types of things? And beans and vegetables are going to be high in fiber.
Exactly. If I could get everyone to eat the majority of their carbohydrates with those two things, they would be amazed at how quick they would lose weight.
Okay. So if you're getting healthy proteins and good fibers, then things are going to move quickly. All right. We haven't even got into exercise yet. And this is what you are, a personal trainer. Give us a little idea of what exercises to do to boost our metabolism.
Okay. This will be different from what a lot of personal trainers might say, but we need to really put an emphasis on weight training. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a guy and I like to lift weights, but weight training is the way that you're going to boost your metabolism.
Okay.
Cardio is great and all, but excessive amounts of cardio can actually slow your metabolism because the body will want to it'll get used to that amount of work, and it'll actually try not to release your energy, your fat as energy, because
Right.
it gets so used to it. But if you have a really good weight training routine, training major muscle groups, and you're pushing yourself, you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to build muscle, that process of protein synthesis and anabolism and muscle repair just does wonders for the metabolism. You start to actually use foods.
Okay.
If you're just burning calories and then consuming calories, you're not really using your food. I mean, you're using it as energy, but if we tear down muscle and repair it, we can use those proteins and those carbohydrates to get shoveled into muscle to help us repair. So that food really becomes a valuable fuel source for us.
Okay.
And the hard part is, the majority of the people I train with are women because women are usually the ones that ask for personal training.
Right.
Just across the board, the majority of our clients are women.
Yeah.
They're usually a little fearful of weight training, and they always have this, they get worried of the word bulking. They're afraid to bulk up.
Right.
You will not bulk up if you weight train. If anything, it will reduce your size. Muscle does not grow that easy, and muscle is very, very lean.
Right.
If I wish muscle grew that easily, but it doesn't. So usually if a woman's like, I'm afraid about bulking up, I wish I had that problem, but unfortunately, building muscle is a very slow process.
And you can build muscle without building the bulk of a muscle. Like you can strengthen your muscles and improve the, I guess the efficiency of the muscle.
Exactly. Yep. So that's really training the nervous system when you get stronger. And even doing that, going through those movements will burn calories and improve your metabolism. But a lot of people don't think that, weight training, maybe you don't burn as many calories during that weight training session, but you're going to burn calories for 48 hours after.
Wow.
Cardio, the second you step off that treadmill or elliptical stair mat there,
Yeah.
you're done, your butt's done. And to be honest, we don't burn nearly as many calories as even what that calorie counter says on the machine.
Yeah.
Like I said, our body gets used to it. So, I don't care a whole lot about cardio with my clients. We weight train, we work hard when we're there, and then we may do some anaerobic cardio. And what anaerobic cardio is shorter, harder bouts of cardio.
Right. And you hear the term high intensity interval training thrown around. Is that what that is?
Yep. So a lot of times we'll actually finish our workouts with that. Even only, seriously, 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's super efficient, there's just no need to do cardio for 45 minutes or above.
So how long would a typical weight training routine be?
I guess it depends on the person. You could easily get a great workout in 25, 30 minutes if you're good about shutting it up at the gym or taking too long of breaks. It's all how hard you work.
Okay.
Weight training, exercising is application and technique. It's not just, hey, what are the best exercises? And I show you some funky new exercise, and this is supposed to revolutionize the body.
Right.
It's not like that. We still do our old basics, and we just do a really good job of applying them. We work hard, and their technique.
Okay.
Now, it sound more boring, but it works every time. And I think if people are more concerned with the results, they'll get over the boring part.
Wow. I keep hearing, weight training's the best thing, and I still haven't. I do running. I run, and I do push-ups occasionally, or burpees, or like I'm working on building up to be able to do pull-ups, and but I don't necessarily go to a gym and lift weights. If I were to do that, would you recommend doing like the machines or doing free weights? What kind of exercises are best to do for weight training?
Definitely free weights. As long as they are safe for you, always do free weights. Machines are nice and all, but the machine guides you along a certain plane. So you're not using, say, stability muscles, secondary muscles, ancillary muscles. When you lift a free weight, you have to balance it the entire time. The weight can move in any direction. When you're using a machine, it only goes in one direction.
Right. So it focuses the muscle, but not helping you out as much overall.
Right. It's more functional to use a free weight. What I mean by that is more functional just means it ties the whole body together.
Right.
You can do a chest press on a machine, but that only trains the muscles that are involved in the chest press.
Right.
The pectorals in front of the shoulders.
Well, if you're doing a free weight squat, you're going to be using your abs a lot. You're going to be using lots of different things.
Exactly. For the push-up, the whole body is being used.
Yeah.
On a chest press, a lot less of it is being used.
Right. Especially if the chest press is on not a free weight bench press. It's just the pulley system.
Right.
Awesome. All right. So, how often should we lift weights?
I think twice a week is a really good start. And if you do a good job, that's about all you need.
Yeah.
And then maybe taking a day or two of doing either some high-intensity interval training cardio, okay? Or taking something like a yoga class, a spinning class, something like that. You can build a nice 4-day program. For most of us, we can go a long way with that. Awesome.
So, weight train twice and run twice or not any kind of cardio. Any. Awesome. And how fast should somebody expect to lose fat on this program?
Again, everyone's different.
Right.
And some people just respond just awesome, and other people it takes a while to kind of figure out, pushing the right buttons to get them to lose weight.
Right.
But the majority, or put it this way, if you are coming from a very sedentary background, or you haven't exercised a lot, once you start exercising, it works great. If I have someone who's maybe a former athlete or something, and they come in, they might not lose weight as fast.
Oh, really?
It's not as relative to what they're doing. It's not a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Although I've always thought that people who were athletic before would be more successful because they can, I don't know.
Well, based on their genetics, they could.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Based on their genetics, it means they could probably return to,
right.
That type of shape.
Right.
I guess if someone's already active and they're having a hard time losing weight, it's going to be even harder to get them to lose weight.
Okay.
But that's why weight training often works really well with women, because they hadn't done it before.
Yeah.
So the second we start doing it, the body is like, what is this? It's completely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it needs to, it needs to adapt to the stress of weight training.
Okay.
And that's how the changing the body works. Is it's adapting to whatever stress we put on it. Stress is, I'm using that as a good word. So, if say someone has never done high intensity interval training and they do it, based on what they were doing before, it's very different for the body, they'll respond very well. Weight training, you haven't done a lot of it. If you start to do it, again, the body is really going to have to adapt to that stress, and it's going to work well. myself, I've been weight training so long, it's not like fat just drops off my body because my body's very used to it. So.
Awesome. So, you offer some services. Do you offer, I mean, I noticed you do some actual, like, diet consultation. Is that something you offer online or over the phone?
Yeah, so that's a majority of it. I find myself so busy as far as in-person training-wise.
Yeah.
I wanted to offer something for people who weren't in the New England or Boston area to use my services. So if someone wanted to email me, then we do all of the nutrition consulting via email, text, phone call, and it's always worked well. I mean, most of my clients I've never seen before, other than pictures.
So they just, how does that work? They just send you in their diet, like what you like the same way? They'll send them what they're eating, and then you start sending them meals. Do you send them actual like meal, like a weekly meal plan, or what? How does that work?
What we always start with is we start with what that person already eats, because I don't believe in just handing someone this perfect diet and saying good luck. You know,
right.
It's a perfect diet. Good luck. It's a lot easier, and people are going to stick with it more if it's just making small changes to their already existing diet. So that's why in the first week they will record their diet, and I'll look at it. I'll find all the problems because everyone is different. It's not like everyone who is overweight has the exact same problem as everyone else who's overweight.
Right.
You know, so I'll see right away. I'll be able to tell what their nutritional faults are. I'll clean it up, and we go from there. We'll talk on the phone an hour each week, and we slowly clean it up. And a lot of it is, hey, does this still work for you? I don't want to make this too hard. You know, let's just make these adjustments. What foods can you not get rid of? What foods do you not mind adding? And stuff like that. And then I'll send them maybe recipes.
A lot of times it's probably just a matter of replacement. So say instead of this, do this, and you know, if that's still okay with you, then you can continue eating pretty much the same things.
Absolutely.
All right. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. We've learned a ton, and it's motivating me. I love doing these interviews because it keeps reminding me what I need to do, and I learn a little bit of something every time from every person. So I really appreciate you coming on. Any last words of advice for the viewers?
Just work hard. Don't get caught up in all necessarily science or anything like that. I lost most of my weight before I ever knew the science and was a trainer, and it was just about getting my butt in the gym and working hard, and you'll do fine. Just work hard, just take the first step and get going. Be patient at the beginning, and you will lose weight. The body cannot ignore hard work.
Right. And if you're putting in the effort, maybe the results won't come every time you step on the scale, but they'll come eventually. Awesome. So the website is exerciseexpertise.net. I'll put a link to that so people can come check you out and see what services you have to offer and read your blog. Thanks again, and have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you.
See ya. Thanks, Josh.